Hello, dearies. Here is a story that a cousin of mine wrote. I'm very excited to share it with you. The Watcher, by Bailey K. Gardner, dedicated to her dad, who came up with the premise. The ring of the phone startled him. The phone never startled him, but he was so lost in his thoughts that the sudden harsh ring sent a jolt through his spine. Methodically, he answered the call. Lifetime Retrieval Services, how may I help you? He asked robotically, his friendly tone masking the exhaustion that came with working the graveyard shift. He listened to the shaky voice of the new mourner, jotting down the information on the office stationery next to the morbid sketch of a headstone. We'll be right over, ma'am, he said, then hung up the phone to allow the woman time to dry her eyes and prepare herself for his arrival. We have one on 49th and Raven Avenue, he calls to his partner, folding the stationery and sliding into the pocket of his jumpsuit. His partner nods his head and grabs a briefcase full of their equipment. They enter the van, filled with a variety of equipment and unaffectionately named the hearse. The car fit in with the business. They were named the Watchers by the public, and watch they did. Though watching was a small aspect of their work, it was the most iconic, the most disputed. Though if anyone in his office had ever felt regret over their career, they had never shown it. It took a certain type of person to be a watcher. The type of person it took to be a doctor or a hospice worker. The Watcher took a moment to say a prayer for his clients and their deceased as the car pulled to a stop in front of the house. He wasn't fooled by the vivacious flora growing in the front yard, or the warm glow of the lights that radiated from the windows. He knew the tragedy that was concealed within the house's cheerful exterior. Like a death knell, his knock resounded against the door, echoing through the dimly lit porch and out to the night air. He always knocked. It was his way of honoring those who waited inside. While honoring their clients was something that all watchers found necessary, each did so differently. His partner bowed his head in solemn sorrow, empathetic for the mourners in the deepest way, shying away from that which they chose to boldly face. In part, it was why they were such good partners. He never had to compete for the right to knock. Their differences enabled them both to give their respects in their unique ways, like gifts wrapped with apologetic frowns and topped with condolences like bows. The death knell is answered. A woman, with puffy red storm clouds raining tears from otherwise beautiful eyes, opens the door. She bears the bruises of grief left by the butt of death's scythe when he swings. She accepts the gifts of sorrowful honor and respect and ushers them into the heartbreak the cheerful house disguises. It's an old man, natural causes it would seem. He lays on the couch, his eyes closed, and a man, presumably his son, clutching his hand and denying his tears to rain onto his cheeks. A foolish practice, in the Watcher's opinion. He's found that without the rainstorm, flowers cannot grow. Life cannot continue. Yet he only offers a gentle pat on the shoulder and a quiet, "It's okay," to the son. The sister retrieves her brother and leaves the Watcher to their work. The partner sets the briefcase on the coffee table. The dark mahogany that once alluded to wealth and prosperity in its deep grain now gives the room a funeral home type of atmosphere. The partner begins extracting equipment from the briefcase. It's time to retrieve the ghost. The Watcher begins opening the client's eyes, affixing goggles to the lifeless face. Eyes are the windows to the soul, he whispers, as though explaining the process to his patient. Next, his partner begins to attach various forms of medical equipment to the man's bald head. Finally, the containment and extraction devices are prepared. Tubes attaching the glass cylinder held by the Watcher to the goggles and medical stickers. The container would carry the ghost of the man's soul. The Watcher always carried this. Like the knock, it was a sign of respect. Wires connected a control to the rest of the display as to control the process. The partner always retrieved, the Watcher always protected. It was the way of things. Beginning the retrieval now, announced the partner, as he pressed the buttons on the controller. The body of the man began to seize, then stopped, as the tubes in the goggles began to glow. Such a process seemed alarming to the mourning siblings watching discreetly in the other room, but such a sight was commonplace to the Watchers. The vial glimmered with blue light, and sounds resonated from the glass. "Here's your tea, Dad." "Dad, are you okay?" "Oh my goodness, Dad! Help! I need help!" the daughter's voice called from within. At the sound, the real woman leapt from her chair and rushed to the vial, stopped by the partner's interference. "Dad? What is that?" she cried, trying to push the partner away, who had explained this 1,000 times before. "It's his last memory. Until we can gather all his other data, his last memory will be playing on repeat," the partner explained. Like a computer's black box feature. The woman stopped her struggles to encounter the ghost of her father's memories, and sank to the floor, sobbing in her brother's arms. The retrieval was the hardest part of the Watcher's job. It was a part he never mastered, but one he knew was necessary. Still, he was never prepared for mourners like his partner was. They returned to the office complex, the Watcher guarding the man's soul all the way down to the laboratory they needed to extract data from multiple beings at once. Other pairs of Watchers filtered the soul fragments of their own clients at other stations. Not as many as usual. There aren't many deaths tonight, and for such livelihood, the Watcher is grateful. He could not handle more mourners tonight. As the tedious process of converting a man's memories into code droned on, the Watcher took a moment to contemplate his career choices. Many wondered why anyone would ever want to be a Watcher. The Watchers spend their days collecting the dead, reviewing lost lives, while never living their own. Ever since people discovered that their lives would be judged by others, and all skeletons wrenched from their closets when they died, some became motivated to live their personal lives better in order to impress those present on their personal judgment day. So why, some ask, would most Watchers want to live their lives watching other people live their lives to the fullest? The Watcher never felt he was wasting his time. In his opinion, he was doing himself and his clients a great service. While he may not live a daring life of adventure, the Watcher gets to fall in love, have a house, a family, a career, and die a peaceful death. The Watcher can live a comedic life with good friends, entertain his family every holiday, and die with a smile on his face. The Watcher can live a tragic life, live a rags to riches tale, or vice versa. The Watcher can do all this without leaving his office desk. His eyes documented their lives within hours. He could experience years in minutes. When he died, the Watcher that serviced him would see the same. And not only would he see dozens of lifetimes through one man's eyes, but also find one man who had lived more in one lifetime than anyone else. Yes, he was always watching. But when the data was done, he was living. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story. It was kind of like heavy, a heavy enjoyment. That's the sort of enjoyment that I would expect from this. Such eloquence. If you'd like to give Bailey any feedback on her story, I will put her email in the description below. And I'm hoping this video works well so that I can make more of these. And then one day take over the world. God bless and ciao.